Hi, grade nines. This is topic 5, start of outcome number 3. And so what we're looking at here is we're looking at DNA and genetics. So variations we learned was really important for for evolution and traits. And how do variations occur? They occur by there being changes in our DNA. So DNA is deoxyribonucleic acid. That's a simple chemical that controls all of our cell function and heredity as well. And so here we could see so DNA molecules are squished together into chromosomes. Okay. And human beings, we have 46 chromosomes. That is, we have 23 pairs, and you get half your chromosomes from your mom and half from your dad. So here we could see there's the DNA, and one small piece along here. So that's a DNA molecule. Several of them scrunched together makes a chromosome. A gene would be a small piece, maybe from here to here would be considered gene, and there'd be like thousands of genes on a chromosome. And in human beings, we have 46 chromosomes, and they're all found in the nucleus. Let's see if there we go. And so DNA basically has a shape like a ladder, and there's a sugar and phosphate down the sides, and then there's nitrogen base pairs. So adenine, thymine, guanine, and cytosine. And A and T always go together, and C and G go together. And the nucleotide is one sugar, one phosphate, and one of the base pairs. So you can see right here, the purple one, that's one nucleotide, and there's the matching one. And this whole strip down here would maybe have the information for your eye color. And let's see if I could do this or not. I believe I had, yeah, at the bottom we have these. Nucleotides combine to form genes. Thousands of genes form a giant DNA molecule. Several strands of DNA condense to form a chromosome, and the chromosome sits inside of your nucleus. So once again, these are just the notes really quick, and a just quick summary of what we covered in topic 5. So the sequences of letters are like a code. So kind of like Morse code is a code for a series of blips and bloops that gives you a message. This is a series of A, T, C's, and G's that code for certain traits. And a gene is that small section of a molecule that codes for a specific protein, which is what controls your traits. So let's go ahead and look at the dance of the chromosomes. So we know that there's 46 chromosomes in people and 23 pairs, and that makes sense because you get half your genes from mom, 23, half from dad, 23, to bring you up to 46. If I was an organism that had 26 chromosomes in my body cells, I would have 13 in my sex cells. Okay, because once again, you gotta get half from sperm, half from egg. And there's two kinds of cell division that we're concerned about. There's mitosis, I call it mighty mitosis, where cells grow and divide, and that's what makes you grow. Okay, it increases the number of cells you have. Like your skin cells are growing, your bone cells, your cardiac cells. And then there's also meiosis, which makes sex cells. So in this case, they actually take the chromosome numbers in your normal body cell, which for humans would be 46, and they reduce it to half. So there would be 23 in a sperm, 23 in an egg. And so here's normal mitosis, where cells grow, divide, replacement. And so mitosis is the cell function where it makes duplicates of its cells, and they give you some of the lifespans for various cells down here. And for mitosis to happen, basically the chromosomes have to all duplicate themselves, and then they split apart like this, and then you get a new cell. Well, a little bit on graphing. So if you have to do a best fit graph, so what you have here is, so there's all your data points. Your best fit graph line is one that passes, like represents what the data is doing, and it has equal number of data points above and below. So you can see there's 1, 2, 2, there's almost equal number. Actually, there's exactly equal number of data above and below. So that's called best fit line. You can see the same thing over here. In this case, the line best fit would come down like this. And then looking at meiosis is where it makes sex cells. The fancy word for sex cell is a gamete. Okay, and it has half the number of chromosomes compared to the body cell. So if there was an organism with 14 chromosomes in its body cell, its sex cell would have 7. Likewise, if you found an organism with 21 chromosomes in its sex cells, the body cell would have 42. Okay, and so there's meiosis in this cell life cycle. The only part where it's making sperm and egg, the rest of this here is all growth and development. That's all mighty mitosis. And in meiosis, here's how it works: it duplicates everything, and then the cell divides, and then it splits again. So that's how you end up with 4 cells instead of 2, right? If you start with 1, and uh, and you end up with half the number of chromosomes as well, because here it duplicates everything, so you have 46 and 46, but then it just splits again without duplication. And that is making sex cells. Now, it turns out your parents make 4 million uh, different sex cells, and so, the chance of people having 2 kids who are exactly the same, who aren't identical twins, is in the trillions. I mean, it's not impossible, but it is ridiculously rare, unless, of course, you have twins, in which case you have twins. We can use this genetic technology in changing living things. It's called GMO, genetically modified organisms. Okay, or if you want, it's called transgenic. So trans means across, genic means moving genes across from one organism to another. So I can take a gene for growth from one organism, put it in salmon, and then you can see down here, there's a super salmon with the growth hormone. That's what regular wild type is. Okay, and so most of our food is GMO, and we just want to be aware of that. There are some concerns. We don't know the long-term health concerns from GMO, but I mean, obviously they think it's safe enough that we've done it to all our food. Plus, we needed to do it to our food so that we can make enough food for everybody on the planet. Some people have concerns about, is it right? I mean, to capture a fish and to change it against its will, is it moral that we're playing the role of God? These are all concerns. Also, if one of these wild type fish down here escapes, they would outcompete the natural population, and they could drastically change the populations of that fish in that area, and they could then hybridize themselves. But then if there's an environmental factor that kills one of these fish, because they're so genetically similar, it would wipe out the whole population. And then, of course, the natural salmon decreased because they were outcompete in the first place, and now you have a serious problem. You could face the extinction of all of them. We use GMOs in plants as well: potatoes, corn, tomato, wheat. We can add genes in to allow them to resist drought. We can add genes in to resist disease. And so, once again, it is improving the crop. However, we have to be really careful, right? If there's an environmental factor that affects one, it could go through and wipe out the entire population. And that was the end of topic 5 notes. Okay, and I will post those for you right now.